Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more Moonlight Pro League. Right now we are in the second round of this match between Team Scan and Team ZeLoT. This is a King of the Hill, and as you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen, so far True and Scan have both fallen, only 8-15 for ZeLoT's team. Of course, since they already lead 1-0, if they win this King of the Hill, then they will be the champions of this edition of Moonlight Pro League. Well, I hope that Beast here can start a comeback for his team. He is in the top right of Butter playing Zerg, a very strong Zerg player. You've seen a lot of casts of him here on ArtosisCasts. And in the bottom right, of course, Motive. This guy is working so hard on his skill currently. Certainly one of the stronger, newer, well, he's not super new or anything, but his rise in skill has been very, very good lately, right? Like, he's really renewed himself as a Protoss player, and hopefully going to see him soon in ASL and the likes. All right, now it's Butter, it's PvZ, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really crossing my fingers for Beast to win. I don't want this to be a quick Moonlight Pro League. Which, by the way, you know, this is a match that I've funded, and that's a lot of thanks to you guys and everyone supporting on the Patreon. Thank you very much, guys. If you want to do that, the link is down below in the description. So, yeah, in PvZ on Butter, the rush distance on Butter is longer than a lot of maps. Let me show you, right? So, the rush distance from natural to natural. Like, let's say you're going gateway expansion. Here's your gateway, and look at the path, right? That's a bit further than most bases, most rush distances on most maps. So Butter is generally a map you'll see Forge Fast expansion on. You know, that's one of the things that you're really taking into consideration. Like, if we open up with a gateway expand, can we actually have potential to do something with the ZeLoTs? And if the answer is maybe not, because it's taking, you know, 3 seconds longer to get there, 4 seconds longer to get there, which, by the way, these types of things really matter at the top level of Brood War. You know, maybe not in the lower level games. You can kind of still have the same results, even though it's slightly further. At the pro level, it really does become different. So, yeah, getting that Forge Fast expansion up, getting the Nexus as quickly as possible. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a slow game at the beginning here. Because, yeah, Forge Fast expands. When you see that, it's like, okay, well, maybe if we kill the Pro and deny that first scouting ZeLoT, maybe we can do, like, a 3-hatch Hydra. But other than that, it's just, there's not, like, a lot of play. Whereas, if you open a gateway expansion and you're microing ZeLoTs around, you could overextend. You could miss micro. You know, the cannon is going to be a lot later, so there could be a Zergling counterattack, that type of thing. Maybe the Zerglings can run in and kill the first cannon, right? We see a lot of play in those positions. But the Forge Fast expansion definitely is a much more straightforward mathematical type of defense. So he's got that one cannon. Up comes the gateway. Gas. You know, obviously he's going to get the Cybernetics core. He's going to want to pop his ZeLoT out right after the Cybernetics core so he can get a scout going. Because that is really the only thing you can do for that secondary scout. If you lose this probe. Which, by the way, he's doing a good job of keeping alive. Some nice loops he's making here. Not taking too much damage. In the meantime, Beast has his third hatchery going up. This natural just about to finish. And yeah, everything looking like pretty normal. Nothing too out of the ordinary. There is that ZeLoT being started right after the Cybernetics core, as mentioned previously. And that first ZeLoT generally just gets sent right across the map. Like, a lot of times, especially if you keep the probe alive in here, you'll just send the ZeLoT, like, towards the third base. Sometimes you'll go in, like, a funny direction. And then occasionally, of course, you know, it's something that we talk about a lot, moving out and moving back. Because the Overlord is here, sometimes the ZeLoT will do something like walk up to here, just sit there for a moment, and then come back. Because then you're keeping track of where it is, or over to the same other side, right? So, he just walks past the Overlord, and he's trying to prevent any scouting of what the ZeLoT's doing, right? So now the ZeLoT is in a no man's land where you don't know where it's at. So as Zerg, you got to make some Zerglings, right? He's got 4 here, but 4 the ZeLoT can deal with, so he does need at least a couple more. And in fact, yeah, he is making 2 more. So Beast going as low as possible on the defensive numbers. ZeLoT looks like it's going to hide, perhaps. Maybe he's just doing a run around. Like, it can actually be useful because we have a complete Fog of War rather than just a Fog of War where you can see everything on the minimap. So this can actually help you sometimes to scout out the dark areas of the map if you have areas you have a hard time clicking. Like, for instance, Polypoid, all the 4th base locations, those are actually, they have ramps where it's hard to get up if you don't click correctly. So it's like, that's a useful thing I personally do if I have extra stuff in the early game, like a vulture running around doing nothing. Maybe go scout those, right? So the clicks later are cleaner. So anyways, goes home. He forced some Zerglings. You can see this beautiful combing maneuver here from Beast where the Zerglings spread out to like every single area and then congregate in front of the gateways. So he's just checking if anything's out there. Sees that there's not. Corsairs in the meantime on the way. Citadel coming up. That first Corsair going across the map. The Spire, of course, coming up here for Beast. He's not playing anything cheesy at all. And he is adding some hatcheries as well. 2 macro hatcheries coming up. Second gas also. So that's something you're going to want to take into consideration here as motive. Is like, is he going to go for Mutalisks? And probably, right? When you see the second gas, I feel like this is like very popular right now to get your second gas a little bit quicker and make some Mutalisks. And we can see on the production tab and over here on the Spire, +1 Flyer Carapace coming up. So that does point us towards Mutalisks being a thing. But the first thing you're going to want to do here is to get some Scourge to push the Corsairs back so the scouting ends, and then you can make your Mutas. You don't want them to see you pop Mutas out. That's like worst case scenario. You need it to be a little bit of a surprise because the Corsairs, you know, if you see that it's Mutas, you can do things like get a quick Archon, right? Just continually make the Corsairs, like no road bumps in that, and get a composition that's going to be very hard to deal with. By the way, we see the double pylon probe trap here so that his Corsairs will stay stacked. And a couple of Scourge. Ooh, this is a great location. As you can see right here, this is where the Corsair pops out. So to keep the Scourge nearby, it forces the other Corsairs to come and fight them. Okay, he does take them out quickly. Beast wasn't that quick on the response there. If you instantly right-click as they're coming in, the Corsairs actually have to turn around. But it wasn't quite able to do that. In the meantime, Legs and +1 almost done these Zealots. So Motive is moving across the map. A Sunken awaits, as well as some Mutalisks. So as these Zealots come in, the Corsairs going to come up and push them back. Uh-oh, this could be a problem here for Beast. Now comes in. Oh my god, his Scourge actually hit beautifully. And we only have 3 left. He's getting the moving shots. Put some damage there, but the Zealots running, that was a beautiful move from Motive. He brought the Zealots up so that the Mutas had to turn around to attack them. Otherwise, the Zealots would have busted through everything, and that allowed his Corsairs to get away, because he was going to lose at least 1 more there to the moving shots of these Mutalisks. So, this has been, like, pretty action-packed so far. Got to catch my breath for a moment. We have this switch into Hydralisks ready to occur. +1 ranged attack. Okay, Hydralisk speed, that'll be followed by the range. We have Overlord speed on the way right now as well to detect for those High Templars. Maybe if he goes into Lurkers, he can snipe some Observers as well. Still a fair amount of Mutas and Scourge also from Beast. The Mutas still are somewhat useful. Like 7 Mutas, for instance, that can kill these 2 cannons. Absolutely. But not with the Corsairs around. So when you make a bunch of Scourge, sometimes you see this move that Tasteless affectionately called Ogre Zerg Gamer. Right? Where you just fly in with the Mutas and a ton of Scourge. You go after the cannons, and you let the Scourge fend off all of the Corsairs. Now, the Corsairs have +1, but +1 Carapace is now done on the Mutalisks and Scourge. So that makes a huge difference. Now, here we go. The Muta's going to jump in, and there's the Scourge. Oh, my God. Is he going to get those connections? Oh, this is a big deal right now. He's gotten a few connections. There is an Archon here. Oh, he gets another one. Gets another one. Only 3 remain. And the probe count going to be reduced a little bit. He did lose just like 3 Mutas during that. The rest are full health still. Oh, gets another kill on another Corsair. So we're down to 3 Corsairs as well as an Archon. Now, there is a switch going on that we can see. It's the Hydralisk we were talking about before. Lurker aspect on the way. So if you are going to make any more Archons, that's going to be a problem. The 1 Archon is going to be more than enough. You don't want any more of that. You need Storm instead. Archons are very bad against Lurkers and against Hydralisks. It's really a unit that you want to utilize. Again, when Defiler Tech comes out, it's great. But like against Zerglings, against Mutas, against Scourge, those types of things. Now, Motive going to start moving out with his Zealots and Archon. He has remade some of these Corsairs. A few High Templars coming as well. Lot of, oh, hold on. Oh, another pickoff with the Scourge. Really well done. We'll see what he can get done with these Mutas. Looks like he's going to just fly off to the side for now. Turns around to jump upon the Corsairs. Actually flies right through them. The Zealot's turning around. Honestly, the defense here is like pretty good SimCity-wise. And of course, once the Lurker aspect is done, any Hydras that are being damaged, you can morph into Lurker eggs. And then they're basically indestructible. So I'm not sure that you can do a full frontal attack. The Evolution Chamber is coming down. You can see he's making a little bit of a wall here. So there's like one way for the Zealots to get in. So this is great SimCity. Great blocking here from Beast. And you can see that he's just not... Motive isn't getting anything done, man. Nothing at all. Loses a couple Zealots. Takes some damage. No damage dealt. And that's how you mess up the AI of melee units. Now, a lot of Hydras popping out of the other side as well. Back at Motive's base. Did he get Dragoon range? I may have missed it if he did, but I believe he did not, which would be a huge issue. You know, this comes up more and more about the modernity, I guess. Is that what you call it? Like, the modernity of these Zealot builds versus the Dragoon builds? Because this position here, like, look at this. You have the Lurkers, like, just burrow up. And now what do these Zealots do? They're having a hard time. Like, they've got a lot of muscle to him. He does get them on top of some Hydras, but as you back up into a couple Lurkers, it's like, well, the Zealots kind of have to turn around. They're taking so much splash damage at that point. So he finally starts the Dragoon range. This feels late, right? More recently, we've had a lot of quicker Dragoon transitions. There's been a ton of Zealots this game. It doesn't feel like the Zealots have done much. Like, obviously, you're always going to have some early Zealots. You're always going to do some maneuvering. But the actual fighting forces of Zealots really have not paid off. And now we have this gigantic line of Hydras going down the map. It looks like a containment is going to be set up. Surely some more Lurkers will be made as well. In comes the Corsairs from the side. But yeah, the Zealots are starting to evaporate a little bit. Hydra's going to be pushing them back. Yeah, you can see, really, once you hit that critical mass, the Zealot's not doing very much, unfortunately. Down goes the Archon as well. Seems like Motive going to lose just about everything there. Now the supply is going into Beast's favor. And as soon as you see that, you know that the opponent is in big trouble. Supply is a great indicator in this matchup, in particular, in any Zerg matchup, I guess, really, of who is in the lead. And, undoubtedly, Beast has a great position here. Now, it's not all the way over, right? This game is not done. High Templars are out. He is starting to field Dragoons to help out. A good amount of Psi Storms here. You get some value storms like, look, 2 Storms, 2 Storms, 2 Storms, 2 Storms. So he has 8 Psi Storms here. That's pretty huge. Single Muta comes in, obviously gets picked off very quickly. Got to be careful with your units. He is trying to take a third, but unfortunately, Hydra's come up to hit that. The attack in from Beast, though, you got to be careful. Look at that. He's going through the meat grinder when he attacks in like that, but this is highly annoying. To retake this high ground is going to be a pain for Motive. Still, this is a lot of supply for Beast, who is taking double hatchery at his 4th base location. His macro going to stay really, really strong. Tons of Lurkers being made. Another attack upgrade is about to finish for that +2. +2 armor almost done here for Motive. And he decides to just expand to the other side. This is probably the correct decision. Trying to break up that ramp would have been very, very hard. Oh, he's trying to pick off some of these High Templars. And 2 of them actually do get picked off. 3 of them get picked off. Oh, God, and 4 of them are going to get picked off. You can't let that happen. His High Templars were literally in the front of his army. They were in front of the Zealots and Dragoons. It's like, you can't do that. You simply cannot do that. When you lose 4 High Templars like that, right? Remember I said he had 8 Storms. He got a few off. They weren't perfect. And suddenly it's like, okay, well, you just have a Gateway army. This looks like a bad Protoss versus Terran army, but you're going against Lurker Hydra. You don't have the splash damage. You're not going to beat this. And so Beast pushing forward, he's going to try to make this gigantic arc. You can see the Zealots starting to evaporate. And as the Zealots die off, the Dragoons are going to be very easily killed if there's a decent amount of Hydras left. The Dragoons don't really counter anything. They need that extra tanking. So as the Zealots are gone, right, the Dragoons go forward a little bit, but he realizes, uh-oh, we need to step back because, again, this army, it's like, okay, it can do well against, like, a few Lurkers, but as soon as you start adding in Hydras, man, they just deal damage so quickly to Dragoons that the Dragoons cannot fight alone. They really, you're trying to utilize Dragoons for their high range, high damage output, but as soon as they're actually being attacked by Zerg units, man, you got to pull back. You got to reinforce. So 3 more High Templars have been made, kind of waiting on making sure they have some storms. Looks like he does have 3 storms prepared. So we'll see how well those storms can hit. He's storming a Lurker there. Okay, he breaks through this. Has a few Zealots left alive. Retakes this general area. In the meantime, his 3rd Nexus only has a couple cannons. A counterattack coming in here from Beast. And he's going to take those cannons down in a matter of seconds. The Lurkers are clumped a little bit, so Psystorm could be helpful. And look at this. Another attack coming down while he's hitting that 3rd. So that's going to allow him to kill the 3rd completely. I feel like this was maybe the nail in the coffin right here. When you just can't get your 3rd up this late, we're at 16 minutes now. He's going to be out of money very shortly. Now, some good storms. Maybe Motive is planning some sort of counterattack here. That's the only thing I can really think of at the moment. But look, he's got, like, no minerals left. It's just, you know, that's the problem. A couple things went wrong. I think losing those 4 High Templars was brutal. But then also having to turn around and not save this Nexus, what are you going to do? There's nothing really left over for you at this point. Whereas Beast is up here mining pretty. Look at this. Look at how many mineral patches he has. It's insane. He's got 50 drones, and he's literally mining from 4 base. Motive has 48 probes. He's literally mining from no base. He's out of money. So he's got to utilize just the pure strength of his standing army. He has just enough money to make 1 Nexus. His standing army is pretty tough. Okay, that's a good storm. Zealot's getting some good connections here. Don't forget, he's got pretty good upgrades. 1-2 upgrades. It's good. It's solid. Up comes the Nexus. Oh, God. Oh, God. He can't even afford to cancel this. Okay, no cancel. No cancel yet. Still the smallest, tiniest bit of hope here for Motive. All right, the Hydralisk swarm is starting to come back in right now. He's got to hit his storms just right. That was a pretty good storm. That was a pretty good storm. The split was okay as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 storms remain. Let's see how he hits them. Okay, that's an excellent storm. And as the Hydras come in, look at this. He's just picking off what he can. The supplies staying pretty even between the two. But the economy of Beast really paying off. You can see as he continually rallies down. You know, Motive is having a very hard time keeping his economy going. He has, like, literally 40 long-distance mining probes here. And you're not earning that much money off of that, unfortunately. A lot of eggs, man. Like, making 8 Hydras at a time compared to, what, 2 Dragoons at a time. Not looking too hot here for our Protoss player. All right, another run into Snipe High Templar. He gets, like, a decent storm for that, for sure. But you can trade at a bit of a deficit here as Beast as well, don't forget. He's getting some more Lurkers added in. Some very hurt Hydras turning into some very healthy Lurkers. Picks off another High Templar. The pickoffs are just too much. Like, you can't be losing this many High Templars. It's really the most important part of that Protoss army. Now, Beast coming forward with another push here. Just killing off anything that he can. These are some great Psystorms that we see. And this base is up and mining literally as much as it can. That's so many probes there. But it looks like the army going to get picked off. GG is called, and Beast gets a win for his team.